Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 28th of November to the 4th of December 2022. So we have a lot of energy at the moment in the mutable signs, and those are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius and Pisces. Mutable means the ability to change shape, to move from one state to another, and those signs take us into the solstices and equinoxes where we change seasons. So there's a lot of potential for change going on at the moment. We have the Sun, Venus and Mercury all in Sagittarius, and we're starting to get used to that fiery, bold, stepping forwards energy of Sagittarius now after a very in-depth Scorpio season. So the Sun, Venus and Mercury are all opposing Mars in Gemini. So as we know, Mars has got a retrograde in Gemini. That's taking us in to clear our mind, to get focus, to rejuvenate, because Gemini is a very young sign, and to really centre in our passion before we act and step forwards for real. Going inwards means not trying to control the external. So there's a big lesson here on observing the mind, Gemini being an air sign, very mental, looking at where we're giving our energy out when we could be putting that energy in. And Mars is catalytic, so it's getting to the spark and firing up. So throughout this whole Mars retrograde, we can have a look at where our mind is giving away power, giving away energy, and to really reel that in. So these planets being in opposition just show us both sides of the spectrum. It's not that difficult an aspect. And we have a harmonic this week. So Mars retrograde in Gemini is at a harmonic trine angle to Saturn direct in Aquarius. And this starts to sum up 2022 really. We've been taken with Saturn in Aquarius to find our core strength, our authenticity, our integrity, really stand on firm foundations with our own inner wisdom, what we stand on and for, become less dependent on the external. And it's interesting, in the English language we have a negative spin put on somebody that's self-centred, but that's exactly what we need to be. Higher self-centred. All these retrogrades taking us inwards to our core and really firming us there, really making us strong and flexible and independent. So a lovely harmonic there. Mars taking the energy inwards, Saturn our backbone, our inner strength. And after a period of retrograde with Saturn in Aquarius tuning us into this age, we nearly always get the rewards if we've done the hard work. So hopefully we're feeling stronger and more aligned and more visionary as a result of some of this year's transits. Mars will go direct in January, which I feel will be the real active stepping forwards aspect. And we've had a couple of years assessing where we put our energy, especially regarding employment, busyness. So with this aspect we can tune in to being higher self-employed, where our energy is going as far as productivity is concerned, and where we value our time, energy and talent. So higher self-centred, higher self-employed, those would be the phrases to meditate on with this particular harmonic this week. In regards to relationships, Mars in Gemini retrograde has taken us back to the Mercury retrograde in the summer, where we're exploring the stories that we make up and whether they're true or not. So with this Mars retrograde, change of perspective, connecting with the real spark of others, shared passion and creativity, rather than the story that we have of them based on need or want. That's the fundamental change to relating going on with others. As I've said, to find our true self and then to be able to make the middle ground with others. Because a lot of what people talk about being hurt or let down is often to do with the fact that they have a want or need from the other person outside of them that that person may not even know about, and then when that need isn't met, then comes the hurt and the letdown. So all of these aspects I feel are firming us up in ourself, with our higher self, soul self, source, and then showing us how to reconnect with others from a place of shared passion, creativity and flow, which should start to obliterate some of the psychological quagmire that relationships have been in for many centuries. By the end of the week we have Neptune turning direct at 22 degrees Pisces. So as I mentioned, Pisces is another one of the mutable signs, takes us from the old year into the new, over the equinox point to start a new cycle. And I feel this goes beautifully because we've got all this fire and passion, potential mentalism with the Mars in Gemini and the Saturn in Aquarius. But here comes the cellular, here comes the real inner wisdom and knowing. I've been speaking a lot about past life issues coming up, inherited beliefs that we need to release. Jupiter went direct in Pisces last week, Neptune goes direct this week. We've had a chance to go inwards and find our true motivation. So the combination of passion and motivation of an authentic being that's soul self-guided is just so holistic and perfect that we'll actually look back at some of our thoughts and actions and what they led to in the past and wonder where we were coming from, trying, planning, striving to goals that we didn't even believe in. So diving into the waters of Pisces, Neptune turning direct. Since June, late June, have you had that experience of going and really meditating on what truly motivates you? Because now we're able to live in a much more aligned way. In the past, it was very much thoughts and actions first. Like I say, maybe to somebody else's goal or a goal that you set 5 years ago or something you thought you wanted because that's what others expect of you. Now we're realigning, going deep into the waters of ourselves, and once we've cleansed them, making room for new inspiration to come in, using our imagination, and then with the fire energy firing up what's most passionate to us, and then thinking and acting from that deeper space. So this is really divine, this combination here. Go deep into them, as this sets up the groundwork for 2024, and the whole combination speaks of sovereignty and liberation, being our true selves, living our true life, fulfilling our purpose, not being dependent on others and the external. And by recalibrating deep inside, we have different ideas, inspirations, small changes made lead to very different destinations. And when it comes to manifesting, if you are in that space now, then everything that you attract back, you have the choice of whether that's what you want, you have the discernment, you can recalibrate, but largely if you're coming from that space, everything that you start to attract and encounter will fall into that resonant wavelength. So a very deep, malleable week. Find your motivation, let go of obligation, revise where you're coming from, and there is no need to plan forwards because you'll be able to use intuition, be guided forwards with higher feeling, rather than trying to force things to happen or doing things that we don't really have our heart in. So it feels like a lovely wrapping up as we head towards the winter solstice, when Jupiter will move into Aries and really start to expand our landscape. Mars turning direct in January will open a pathway ahead of us. So for now, swim in all potential, feeling what feels right, what's calling, what's energizing, what's rejuvenating, and what's deeply, deeply cellularly soulful. So if you'd like to see where this is happening for you, I am available, zoehind7@gmail.com. If you'd like a reading, some lessons, some coaching. I'm also available for Tarot and Astro at any events over the holiday season in London. You can find these videos on YouTube, zoeastro, with lots of others. Quite a nice library there. And I post links on Instagram at zoehind7 and Facebook at astrozo. So fire and water, go to the light inside every cell. Power up your dreams and realign to imagination, passion, then thought and action. And this is setting us up for a whole new way of being that we'll be embodying in 2023. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week.